Okay, I'd like to call to order the official portion of the meeting. We do have a quorum present. Can I get approval of the minutes from the previous meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Treasurer's report.
Report's been distributed. As mentioned earlier, we have some funding available, and we need motions to appropriately disperse that remaining money.
All right. Now, we have to fund the conference for 5,000. It's something we needed to do at February's meeting.
I'll make a motion that we fully fund the $5,000 that we promised for our table at the conference.
Okay, yeah.
I guess I have a question. What year budget is that coming out of?
The one that ended March 31st.
I guess I don't know how we, as a council, can spend money that's already past the budget year.
Well, I would argue that because we had an emergency cancellation due to weather, this was on the agenda to be voted on, and
I guess I
would have
would
made
look
that
to
motion.
George and Ed to tell us whether that's in order or not.
I'd have to research it.
But that,
I'd have to research it. I'd have to give me an answer tomorrow.
because I don't know how you spend money after the budget year's in government.
The only thing I can say, Dan, is that our voucher and our last quarter, fourth quarter has not been submitted. We have 30 days from the end of the quarter, so it hasn't been submitted as yet.
I understand that, but I'm just wondering about the legalities, and one who has been sued by the state previously, I get a little antsy.
Is it all right to wait until I get an answer to second?
I've had a motion and a second. So is there any more discussions?
So I guess I would make maybe the suggestion or the recommendation, since we meet infrequently and we're not sure if we can or cannot do this, that maybe we amend the motion to approve this pending verification that we can.
Yeah.
Just so that we don't have to come back and have
maybe we
some email
can,
meeting or
amend
something
the
afterwards.
motion to say we empower the chairman to approve the motion pending legal.
Okay, we have an amended motion from Todd saying that this could be approved pending approval from the state and the authority. You all right with that, Dan?
Yeah, I just think it needs to be researched. I just don't want this group to stick their necks out and do something that could be not appropriate.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Just before we move on, maybe this is something that we should put in our budget for every year and have it approved pre-conference, because the conference really depends on us for this money. And if we have another issue like this next year, or any year, I guess kind of for us to renege because we didn't have a meeting because of weather, I think it's grossly unfair.
And then we still have
I don't
that.
think it's a question of fairness. I think it's a legal question.
So I think that in retrospect, I think what you're saying is that we should have then done a special meeting or an email meeting or something to approve it in the interim. But the question is, can we approve it after the end of the fiscal year?
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought we had the ability in our bylaws to do electronic meetings.
Yeah, I think we do also.
Right. So
We have the ability, but
Whereas we looked into this, I think, last year, a couple of years ago, we did an email vote on something. And Robert's rules does allow for.
I'm pretty sure you cannot conduct statutory business, though, on a meeting like that. You just can't verify who's actually on the other side. You can do routine things. You can do routine things with our electronic meeting, but you can't do statutory things. So if it was a CON issue or something like that, we couldn't do that.
And that also leaves us with that what, $4,000 that hasn't been spent yet, which if we would have had the February meeting, we would have spent that. So is that something you could look into too, whether we could still spend that, the extra?
I will, as soon as I get a response, I'll send it to Tom
Okay.
and then they'll disperse these appropriate. If you don't mind, I will try to get the citation so that Dan's comfortable with exactly where it is in the law.
Okay.
I thoroughly understand where Dan's coming from because we're trying to be fiduciarily responsible with the taxpayers' money. And it's proper to do it right because in that way there are no questions that come down after.
Oh, I definitely agree. So do we want to talk about what we want to do with the extra 4,000 if we're allowed to spend it now? And then we could just send out an email and,
I've lived through that.
Does anyone have kind of an earmark or a project that they think is worthy of funding outside of what has already been suggested?
what about some of the refusal forms?
Exactly. I was thinking that.
Get
Definitely some
credit.
I think I'm down to my last package of them. I just opened it yesterday, so I think there's 500 in the pack maybe. I'm down to the last package, so.
And I think, Alicia and I had this discussion, I think it was about $390 for
I-
5,000 the last time,
I believe so, yes.
so.
How long did it take you to go through that 5,000?
We ordered, I think it was last year around this time. Because I think the refusal forms were in effect the March meeting last year, at the REMAC meeting, either the March or January meeting, and then by the time we ordered them, that was Abby, so I was there, but I think it's been about a year. I mean, we have, like I said, we didn't have a whole lot of requests for them until past probably a month since the officers meeting in Cat County, and then I think we sent out a memo to Chautauqua County. I haven't received many requests from Allegheny County for them, but it's mainly been the other two counties.
So it's hard to say like timeframe wise, but I think it.
Because it's been a lot right now,
Right.
but
We've got the new orders.
I mean, have,
Yeah, it was March of last year.
yeah, that sounds about right. So we ordered them in duplicate so that they can have 2 copies.
Is anybody interested in purchasing any of those with the money, if we get the money?
Yeah.
What happens to the money if we're not allowed to spend it? Do we have to give it back to the state?
It goes
or
back
what?
We just don't get it because it's reimbursable.
Okay,
They just keep it.
You never got it, so it doesn't go
right,
back.
so it's money that we would voucher for if we could
Correct.
spend it, but
Correct.
I'd make a motion to buy 10,000 papers.
Got a motion from Kevin to buy 10,000 of the refusal forms if we're allowed to spend the money from our canceled February meeting.
Just some discussion, what is the probability of that form needing to be changed, or, I mean, is it a living document that may need to be changed in the next?
I don't think so. I think this is like a big revision and consolidation of several other policies and protocols like the collaboratives. It incorporated a lot from Pennsylvania, what they just did in their revisions. So I don't really see that changing very soon. I mean, I wouldn't want to have, you know, like 5 years worth or something, but I don't see it changing in the next year or two.
Okay, I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried. Anything else under the treasurer's report?
Well, I think we need to revisit the issue Mickey kind of brought up, about not allowing ourselves to get into this situation. And I don't know the correct way to articulate what we want to say, but I think we need to have kind of a standing or recurrent authorization to fund our annual educational center.
Well, I think my learning experience is gonna be to reschedule the meeting if we cancel one.
I mean, is there appetite from this body to vote on a recurring funding mechanism, or do we want to have annual discussion and vote?
I think the problem with doing it and saying we automatically approve it is that it could change based on venue, there's a lot of costs, and so you don't know exactly what that amount of money is going to be. I don't think anyone necessarily disagrees with whether or not we put money into the educational center, but I think it's hard to say we'll have a standing order to approve money when we don't know what the exact cost is going to be on a annual basis.
Nor do we know what our future budgets will be necessarily from the
Correct.
state. It hasn't gone up, it hasn't gone down, it hasn't gone up either, so.
And perhaps that when they start getting ready for it and they know where they're going to be and what their costs are going to be, then we should look at approving it at the beginning instead of at the end.
And I guess I would suggest that instead of waiting for the February meeting, which is close, that we probably schedule that for the December meeting. So that we,
Or just make it a perpetual agenda item.
right,
Every meeting it's on the agenda, so when we know, at whatever point they know,
Yeah.
we can just do it then.
Okay, any more discussion?
Well, that leaves us with probably another 3,000 that we would have to kind of talk about spending if we're allowed to spend it.
Does that include the 1,500? So really, it's only 1,500 in that.
Yeah, because we really should earmark 1,500 to be returned, right?
Well, if they resubmit, then we keep it.
but the 1,500, that's something they paid us, right?
Yeah, it's not state money.
It's not state money, so that has nothing to do with,
Okay.
so it'd be the full 3,000.
Just as a point of information, the next region over is now charging $5,000 to process a CON application.
Well, that'll cut down the application.
Fuck it, wait.
No, I don't know. It's probably
Any ideas on the rest of the money? If we wanna do anything with it, or? All right, enforcement notifications, I have one here. Suspended 18 months, effective 12/18/17. The first 3 months are actual suspension, the remaining 15 months are state. Placed on probation for 18 months, effective 12/18/17. Kelly Orland, 3150 Union Boulevard, East Islip, New York. EMT number 390864. Placed must for violations of 10 NYCRR Part 800.1688. Okay, old business. Membership?
Yeah, a couple of things, received notifications, which I don't think we need to vote on appointment of alternates. Scott Landfill, as you said, with John's here tonight, right?
Yes.
myself, I've nominated Donna Bryant, and Kevin is naming John Griffith from Chautauqua County as our alternates. Second item is I got a email from Bonnie Van Housen regarding Mike Barney, and that he's resigned from his position with Allegheny County. I'm not sure exactly what to do with this, because technically he's an at-large member, so in that case, he doesn't represent Allegheny County, he's an at-large. So if he does not intend to continue with this body, we really need a resignation letter from him. So I will send Bonnie a note to that effect, if that's okay. But I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. And then the third item, Allegheny, if you remember back in December, Allegheny had not met yet, and they had two positions that were county appointed that were up at the end of the year. And I got, again, another email from Bonnie Van Housen that says Allegheny County chose Paul Weaver from Alfred and Brad Field from Belmont to be on the SWREMS Council in place of Nancy Luger and Jeff Lucky. And I have both of their applications for membership. So I would make a motion that we accept those changes from Allegheny County.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Ronnie? Who's the second?
Oh,
I second.
Buddy made
no. Motion was made.
I made
the motion. Motion made by
Dan.
Dan.
I second.
Dan. Second, Dan, okay.
Yeah, Dan and Dan.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask Dan a question. Does Jeff Lucky, as the county coordinator, remain an ex officio member of the council or no?
That was the thinking. That
Yeah,
Jeff
I
is-
just wanted to.
Jeff is ex officio.
He was actually the
anyways.
appointed one from the council, but
And
he's.
The
Okay,
thought
gotcha.
was,
He would be a non-voting.
Right, okay.
right,
Thank
the
you.
thought was when the county has another opening, we would put Jeff back.
I
in.
got you. Thank you. I just wondered what the.
Or now, you get a Mike Barney resignation because the winner's at large.
Yes.
Oh,
Any more membership, Dan?
That's it.
Thank you.
We didn't see that coming, but
New business. I have a pad notification from Fillmore Central School. I guess I just have to bring that up. And I have an application for New York State Basic Life Support Provider of the Year. The candidate's name is Dale Sen of Randolph in Cattaraugus, New York. Guess I'll go through and read what his EMS background. Dale was a member of the Emergency Rescue Squad of the Randolph Fire Company when it was first formed in October of 1966. The only level at that time was advanced first aid. Dale obtained his medical emergency technician certificate in 1972, which later became known as the EMT certification. Dale has maintained his EMT certification since 1972 and still has a valid card. Dale advanced to the AEMT I level for 3 years, but could not recertify as the course was not offered in the area. He held many officer positions, including captain, and was involved in many winning first aid contest teams. Dale helped secure funding for the agency's first cardiac monitor in 1977. He helped in the formation of the Silo Rescue Team in the early 80s and led the effort to obtain funding and development for the current helipad on the fire company site. Reason for nomination: Dale has provided first aid and EMT level care to the community for 50 years. He has provided his knowledge time to the operations of the EMS service in Randolph and to the citizens of the area. He helped form the Emergency Rescue Squad of the Randolph Fire Company in 1966. and provide his support during the transition of EMS from a fire company-based service to the standalone agency in 2012 when Randolph Regional EMS Corp. Was formed. In his 50 years, he has helped the EMS service change and grow from an AFA-only program to the paramedic service he currently is a member of. He was involved in the purchase of the first cardiac monitor, other medical devices considered state-of-the-art at the time, obtaining UHF med radios after the Lake Placid Olympics, and multiple ambulances from the Hearst-style ambulance they first bought in 1966 to the latest Type 3 ambulance purchased in 2009. He was instrumental in developing one of the first silo rescue teams in New York State, and he had the foresight to see the need for a designated helipad in our rural community, and took the lead to develop the site and obtain the funding to make the helipad reality. For these reasons and many others that can't be listed at this time, I feel Dale Sen is deserving of New York State EMS Basic EMT of the Year. His contributions and impact to EMS. Dale's impact to EMS extends over his 50 years of volunteering his time provide EMS services to his community. He has provided leadership in the agencies he has been a member of. He has extended his knowledge and skills to the many members who have worked with him to help him develop their EMS and medical careers, both volunteer and paid services. He has impacted the lives of over 3,000 patients, which he was part of the medical crew. He made himself on call every Sunday night for over 40 years. This amounts to over 18,000 hours, or nearly 2 years of his life that he has dedicated to EMS as a volunteer to his community. These hours don't include other responses when not on call, training hours, or the time spent in refresher classes. Finally, he was the inspiration for his 2 sons and 1 grandson to become involved as EMTs. In EMS, EMT burnout and volunteers numbers are decreasing every year. A person who has dedicated 50 years to providing EMS in this community as a volunteer has to have made an impact to EMS and his contribution over the 2 years of his life is deserving of the EMT Basic Award. Submitted by Davidson, President EMT of the Randolph Regional EMS Corporation. Nikki made a motion to send it forward.
I second.
Seconded by Amelia. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I know this was a number of years ago, but I think there was a time when this committee when they got an application approved, it would issue a certificate from this 3-county area. Would there be any interested in saying he's the Western or the Southwest Regional Council Basic EMT of the Year?
I think that's appropriate because actually we're supposed to notify them that we're sending them those applications
Okay.
forward. So I think the way the awards are written, it's incumbent upon us as the regional council to inform those people.
I think that's very nice. Dale is still very actively taking calls.
He was at the conference 2 weeks.
Yeah, and he was at the STEMS conference for 2 days. I mean, after 50 years, he is still actively engaged in EMS, and I think that it's appropriate recognition for him, both by this council and by Ford to the state.
Should we just send that or send it with endorsement?
I think we could probably print up a certificate or something, say.
Well, I mean, as far as when it goes to state, it should go with an endorsement.
Okay,
Well, the endorsement is him signing it.
Yeah, there's a
You
signature.
can only send one per category, so that was the endorsement.
There's
Last
a
one
way
should
to
take care
sign.
of that.
You need to sign it.
okay. I need a second for the motion on
I'll second.
Amelia. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any other new business? Okay, our next meeting is June 6th, 16:30 here at Good Times in Olean. Can I get a motion for adjournment? Bill,
You can find your car.
all right, thank you, everybody.
All right.
Come on, heat the town right now.